You're a natural born public speaker, and that's a fact.
Do you actually feel guilty, or were you just told to feel guilty?
Focus on actually what we can do.
Point it out and show it to me.
You have the freedom to do what you want to and be what you want to in America.
What are we gonna do about it?
What oppress me?
Just saying.
So the CRT stuff, BS. All right, so hope y'all are doing good today. Today, I'm going to be changing out some brake pads on let me get more lighting, on our 2008 Nissan Quest. So this is gonna be like a DIY video for those that want to know how to do it. So I guess y'all can stay tuned so I can show you how I change out brake pads, okay? And I think pretty much what you're gonna need here is like a socket wrench set, whatever, and a C-clamp, definitely a jack with the jack stands for protection. And it's gonna be that simple, so stay tuned. All right, so you guys can see here that I have a jack right here with two jack stands underneath the frame. I know I'm being a little shaky with the camera, but it's just showing you the the brakes right there, the caliper you see right there. But always make sure that you have jack stands. Okay, so as you can see right here, that right there, that bolt right there is what we're gonna be taking off right there. And on my back brakes, I know I can just swing that off. So yep, I'm gonna put this on here like so. And sometimes they're on there pretty tough, so you might need to use something like a hammer, which I'll demonstrate that to you guys a little later. You want to make sure that always you set this to where if you're taking it off, you know, righty tighty, lefty loosey. So set the socket wrench to where it's going to be rotating, you know, to the left, as you saw me demonstrate right there, to the left. And actually, I think I might have done this actually the wrong way. Yeah, I did. I'm gonna flip that around, and again, make sure it's gonna be rotating to your left no matter what before you put it on there. And yep, there you go, just unscrewing that bolt out of there. And it gets to a certain point to where it ends on the threads and you can just slide it out. So once you break it a little bit, you can just go ahead and just kind of screw that out by hand, or you can just keep on using the socket wrench. And as you can see right here, once it gets out of the threads, okay, yeah, you can just slide it right on out like so. Yep, see, usually my back brakes, this whole piece can rotate down, but since the brake line is right there, it's not allowing. I can either take that clip off, or I can just go ahead and take the bottom screw off. But sometimes you can take that clip off, which I'm not going to do that though. But there is the brake pads right there, and like I said, my back brakes I can just lower down because the brake line is longer than the ones in the front. Okay. So let's see here. Now I'm showing you guys from this view right here, the bottom bolt right there. Same thing, you see me, I'm putting it on here. And I think this was gonna be a little bit weird though. I'm trying to hit it with my hand right here to kind of tap it to kind of break it loose a little bit, but as you can see, that's not working too well. Let's keep on popping off, which I should know better to get it on there straight than what I have been. But like I said, there's a little technique you can use where you can tip the end of it with a hammer to kind of help it. Now I'm just going to get it off right here, so bear with me. I'm going to put this back up here to use that as an anchor so I can break that one loose down there, which, as you're going to see, it's not going to be too successful. You guys like when I don't edit my videos too much so you can see the real mishaps and all that of videos like this. As you can see, I'm still trying to do it with my hand, just trying to give it some nice little taps, but I need something a little bit more heavy and sturdy, which will be putting it on the hammer. Some of y'all are not gonna get that. So, okay. All right, so I'm back. Ta-da! And I tapped it with a hammer, guys. I think I'm gonna show you on the other side too. I tapped it with a hammer to break this one loose right here. And I'm just using my socket wrench just to keep on, you know, loosening it up. And like I said again, once the threads are out, I'll be able to just slide the bolt out. It only goes so far, so it has a little grease and oil on it. That's why I got these gloves on right here. You can use, you know, your basic gloves you can get at, you know, any store, Walgreens. Ones that might not have no latex or whatever on it in case you're allergic to it, so be mindful of that. Again, I'm just unthreading that bolt, pulling it out right there. I'm gonna pull the top one off too. But So anyway, I'm gonna show you guys from this view right here. The top bolt is still in there, and like I showed you, like I was talking about, I'm sorry, once I pulled the bottom one out, the top one was anchoring it a little bit to kind of help me break it loose. So now I'm just gonna finish getting the threads to pop out of this one right here, and I'm going to just slide it out. Slide it out. There we go. All right, now I'm gonna just take the whole caliper off, and I'm just gonna rest it on the inside just like that. See? Now, let's see these brakes. There's the brake pads right there. As you can see, it's making a squealing sound. And yeah, those are pretty low. It was time. The meat is almost gone on that. That's what I call the brake pads. I call the padding the meat. Some mechanics understand. That little piece right there I just pointed at, that's a sensor. But not really like a sensor like you think. That right there, you see it? Let me see. Okay. Focus, focus. Yeah, there we go. That right there, it will rub up against the rotors right here. And that's what gives you that when you're stopping. So the squealing is just like a forewarning. And when it gets to the point to where it's grinding and you hear like a that means that sucker is like metal to metal. And that is no bueno. That is not good at all. So as you can see, it's still a little bit of meat left on them, but it's definitely time to change it. And then same way with the other one, you can see that the sensor on there. Yep, see that little piece right there? You can see that it's worn down. It started rubbing up against the rotors, which gave you that squeaky sound. That lets you know right there that it's time to change the brakes once you start hearing that rub up against that. This is the driver's side right here. And this is a technique I was gonna show you guys a little bit. See that? I'm taking the hammer and I'm gonna hit the end of the socket wrench. Here we go, let me focus. So I got it on there, nice and tight, holding it in good. I'm gonna just tap that top part like that, just to break that loose. See, nice little taps. It's better than my hand, won't y'all say? There we go. Just work that right on off of that. Okay, so I am back. Here are the new brake pads. I got lifetime on these, and as you can see, that's the little piece I showed you guys earlier that had the sensor on it. Look how much more brake padding is on here. Look at that. That's a lot of meat right there. So that just goes to show you how worn down those brakes were. Now I got these separated to where I want a sensor on one with a normal brake pad on the other one. So there they are, the new brake pads, lifetime. All you do is take them out of zone and trade them in. Now, the way that these brake pads go in there, as you can see, I got one that's a regular one, and I got one that actually has a little sensor on it. But it slides right in like so. But I think I'm gonna show you guys a nice little demonstration of how you can put it in there. Give me 1 second here to kind of make some adjustments, but it's easy. You just pretty much pop it up in these little slots right there and just kind of push it right on in. It fits right in. Easy peasy, just like that. Same thing with the other side. Put them up in the little correct slots. Let me kind of get a little good look in here, make sure I got it in there right. So I've done this before, but what I want to do is I'm going to show you guys how you can properly put that in there the right way to make it a little easier. So I might just reverse this and go back and show you guys what I'm talking about. Especially if it's your first time doing a brake. It's really, really easy to do. Just taking your time with it. There you go. See the brake pads in there, but I put that part in there first. Here, I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. See that? You just, yep, that piece right there, make it go inside first. Whoops, hold on. Trying to do the camera and the one hand at the same time. So there we go. This might give you guys a nice little view here. Okay. Come on, camera. All right, I think that's a good view. So see how I put that in there? Put it up in there first, and the bottom part, slide it in. Yep, just like that. Push the rotor back against the hub. Make sure they're on there good. Now here comes the tricky part. Comes the tricky part. This is where the C-clamp comes into play. And see, I have two of those right there to pop out. I'm gonna show you something that'll happen here. This is a C-clamp, okay? Whoops. That was not supposed to happen. But anyway, like I was saying, this is what would happen if you have two of these right there. Those right there push out against the brake pads. Well, you know, pretty much they come out to allow the brakes to actually put pressure on the brake pads to cause the rotors to slow down. That's what causes you to brake. But this right here, I'm getting ready to show you. I'm just doing it for demonstration purposes, guys. So for the ones that never done it before, if you happen to have two, usually there's one piston right there that comes out. But there's, on the Nissan Quest, they have two of them. So what'll happen is that you can press one in like that right there, but you notice that it pressed out the other side. So like I said, I'm only showing this for demonstration purposes, guys, because there's going to be people out here that's probably not going to pay no real attention to the video, and you're going to run into this mistake. So let me show you what I'm saying. You push one in, then you go to push the other one in. And as you can see, as I'm winding it in here right now, if you know how to change brakes and do it up to this point, you can skip this part if you want to. But like I said, for those people that are novices and this is your first time doing it, then I'm showing what's going to happen. So see how when I push that piston in, the other one comes out? So one might think that you can just make those two right there even. And by thinking that you can make it even, that you'll be able to slide it right on top of those brake pads, I'm going to show you that it will not work. Okay, so here we go. See, they're even, both of those pistons are, but it will not fit on there because both of them are too far pressed out. Okay. So even if you try to go back in here like this, like I said, this is for the ones that are novices, because people are the ones that asked me to do this video. This is the mistake that you told me that you try to do, and I'm gonna show you how you keep making that same mistake when you got two pistons popping out. See, it's still pushing that other one out. No matter what you do, it's gonna keep on doing the same thing. You push one in hard, the other one's gonna do it. Okay, I'm gonna jump ahead here. So here's a trick. Here's the trick. Take something like this wrench, right? You put it right there, okay? And that's gonna press both of them in at the same time once you put the C-clamp on there. Now some people use their own, some people will use the old brake pads, but if you got lifetime brake pads at AutoZone, they have to take the old brake pads. So you can take anything that's kind of solid metal like this, and notice how when I'm pushing this, because that whole wrench right there is pretty solid, it's pushing both of those pistons back in at the same time. So by pushing both of them in, it's going to make it real flat, and by doing that, it's going to be easier for it to just to slide right back on top of those brake pads there. Again, I'm going to just make sure I let you guys know this is for my ones that are novices to doing this. See that? Both of them are pushed all the way completely in. Okay, see that? Flat. And now, here we go. It just slides right back on top of that brake pads. Nothing to it. You take those bolts that you took out at first, make sure that they're little, whoops, you do not want that to happen. But like I said, I'm doing this to show you guys that, hey, even people that done it plenty of times can make mistakes too. So, but of course, I'm trying to balance this camera, as you can see. There's Balin. Balance this camera while doing this as well. Okay, so I'm lining it up, that little rubber grommet, whatever, rubber boot shoe, whatever they call that thing, all kind of things. Make sure that it goes straight in there like that, and you also want to make sure you do that on the bottom one as well. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'm trying to adjust that little sleeve, or that shoe they call it, rubber shoe or whatever, to where it can fit in there. Because if you don't line it up, as you can see, it will not go. So anyway, it's just me gonna do the bottom one probably first, and then show the top one. Again, let me stress that this is for novices. This right here is going to show you guys different mistakes and different things that can be made. I've changed brakes hundreds of times, but I'm doing it to show you that as if this is my first time doing it. Even though this is not, I'm just showing you as if it was my first time doing it, and different mistakes that can be made. So I took the bottom one on there, lined it up with the little housing, shoe, whatever you want to call it. They got all kind of names for it. and see how it would not work if you do not line it up, because that has a hole in it. But when you get it in there, slides right on in just like so. Do the bottom one the same exact way. Okay, see that? That little shoe, that little area right there is what I'm talking about. Both of them are in. There's the brake pads in there, nice and thick, a lot of meat. That's what I'm talking about right there. Make sure that that right there stays just like that, to where you can slide this in and out. The little shoe housing, boot, whatever you want to call it. They got all kind of names for that thing I mentioned earlier. Okay, yep. And just put it on there. It can only go so far. You can only tighten it so much, okay? So now the bottom bolt, I'm just pretty much hand tightening it. While trying to adjust the camera. Trying to give y'all a little close-up shot of this. So if you follow along with this, you should be pretty good. Now some of them don't have bolts like this. Some of them have to where you have to put in like a different type. You can't use a socket wrench on it. You gotta use like one of those, what I call them, like the star end pieces, like a Allen wrench type deal, where it's like, I don't know what you call it, a hexagon or whatever. So yep, I'm just hand tightening it. Like I said, it can only go so far. It can only go so far. So here we go, just hand tightening it. That's it. Now I'm going to show you the passenger side too. These are for my novices. You can skip the video if you want to. You don't have to watch the whole thing, folks. Top part should go in first, then the bottom part slides right in, just like that. Here we go again. Putting the top piece in there too with the sensor on the inside. Bottom part goes in, slides in, make sure it's on there pretty good. Okay, let's see if I can give you guys a little closer view again. I'm doing this just to show you guys again that if you got two pistons poking out, a lot of times cars only have one. Some have two. But you take something solid, okay, like this wrench. Put it right there against it. Hopefully this is a better view for you guys too. C-clamp. Do not use any type of soft metal where it's not going to do nothing. You need something pretty solid and hard. So like I said, if you don't have lifetime brakes, you can use your old brake, like your old brake shoe, your old brake pads, excuse me. You can put the old brake pad up against that piece right there too, and use this C-clamp to push the brake padding against both of those pistons right there poking out, and it'll do the same thing. Yep, giving you guys a closer view. Just using that C-clamp to press both those pistons in there and take it right back off, just like that. The brake pads are already on inside the brake pad housing, if you would. Like I said, different people call them different things, and just me winding it up on the other side too, just making sure that both of them are in there nice and flat. Okay, it's just me just getting some dust off of there. Make sure it's flipped the right way, flip down, there we go. And I'm trying to get it to where you guys can see it like I did on the other side. It just goes right on there. Push those in, make sure the rotor is pressed up against the hub there. Just push it all the way up against the wheel hub. Just like that. Slides right on top. I'm just gonna put the top bolt in. You guys see me do it on the other side. Like I said, making sure that it lines up with that hole from that little shoe. And I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. Let's see if you guys can see this. Right there. Right there is what I'm talking about. It has to line up with that. Don't try to force it. It should just go nice and easy, just like that. And the bottom one. Same thing. What I'm doing is I'm kind of pulling a little rubber part back, just making sure it's going to line up with it, and see what happens. See what happens if you don't do it. If it does not line up, Don't try to force it. That little shoe or boot, whatever they want to call it, bolt, housing boot, it has to line up with that for that to go in just like that. And I'm just gonna hand tighten it a little bit, both of them, until I can't do it no more. And I'm gonna put the socket wrench back on there and tighten it till it won't go anymore. Okay. So it's pretty much easy. Just make sure, remember, righty tighty, lefty loosey. As you can see, that's turning to the right. Okay. Here we go. Just tighten this up. Again, for the ones who know how to change brakes, this is not for you. This is for novices who's never done it before. Okay. So hopefully you guys will follow along. Especially if you have a Nissan, this might be definitely good for you. But it works, like I said, it's the same mechanism for most vehicles to change the brake pads out. And I'm just gonna hand tighten it. You want it on there pretty snug. It can only go so far because it kind of locks out at the end. So you can only wind this so far. That's what I'm telling you guys. Same thing here. There we go. All right, stay tuned. I'll show you the other portion of this. All you gotta do is put the tire back on now. Okay, so now tires are back on. You can either hand tighten it with the tire iron, or like here I have an impact gun. So make sure you do it in this pattern, you know, crisscrossing them. Don't just go in a circle to tighten them up. Okay, just like that. Then do the same thing again. Just get it on there, make sure that they're on there really good. That's all. Just go over it. You only have to do it probably just twice. Each nut twice. I did forget to mention something to you guys. Make sure when you get back into your vehicle, you pump the brakes until it gets real solid and hard. That allows the brake fluid to go back to the calipers to push against those brake pads. So push it and push it till the brake feels real stiff. Okay, so as you guys can see, that wasn't too bad of a job there. Just make sure again that when you do something like this, that you have your car on jack stands. Okay, just being safe. Keep your car on jack stands, and even when the car on jack stands, I still put the jack under there just a little bit, just so I can have like a 3-point safety. Okay, and then also, again, I know I said at the end of the video, make sure that once you do change the brake pads out and you put the caliper back on there, make sure you pump your brakes inside your vehicle until your brakes, the brake pedal is hardened. That allows the brake fluid to flow back into the caliper, into those pistons, and push them out. Okay, so anyway, again, this is a DIY for a lot of people that are novices when it comes to trying to do it yourself with the brakes, but just take your time with it. You could possibly watch other YouTube videos. They might have your particular vehicle on there, but I think a lot of Nissan vans, this is a 2008, so I don't know what year from what year or what generation they call it, vehicles have the same type of setup on there. But a lot of brakes are basically the same, where you have to push a piston in with a C-clamp like that. So anyway, again, guys, y'all have any more questions when it comes to these brakes, let me know. And in the future, whatever things I might have to do on cars, I'll make sure I post it on here so you guys can see how to do those different things on there. Besides that, I'm Ty Smith, Modern Renaissance Man. I'm about to check out. I hope you guys all have food, shelter, and clothing. Most of all, hope and pray for the last one of you guys in great health. God bless you all in Jesus' name.